Our ImbaTV Invitational, and we are here with our third game. Again, there's a lot of series here going the distance. We have Vega Squadron and SG Esports. It is 1-1 here with Tsunami and Lacoste, and we've seen obviously both teams win, but as we said right before the break, the drafting wasn't the problem for Vega. They have won both drafts and just seemed like a little bit more of the, well, in that aspect, a little bit more of the experienced team, even though obviously it's a very fresh team.
Yeah, well, they gelled well. Like,
yes.
They didn't need too much time to actually synergize, and it feels like this could be the Vega Squadron that we saw during the ESL New York, which I really liked.
Yes,
yeah.
it was different squad. Well, Slayer was still there, but for other players,
they tend to play these fast-paced lineups that have a lot of vision, a lot of wave clear, so they're always in a position to actually play aggressive.
Yeah, Tsunami, you think they're gonna do it here in this third game?
I don't think it's gonna matter what they do. I think SG Esports need to go back to what brought them success in Game 1. This Game 2 draft that they had was not teamfight oriented. Doom is like a pick-off hero, Troll is like a split-push hero, Viper doesn't really do anything except just be a damage sponge a lot of the times. There were no big ultimates like Terrorize or Wukong's Command in Game 1.
I'll steal that term. Damage sponge.
Yeah, no, I mainly came up with it whenever I saw Underlord, because he would just walk around, turn on Crimson Guard Pipe, Atrophy Aura is doing nothing, and you're seeing all these attacks like go into him, and it's just he's soaking them in.
By Atrophy Aura does nothing, you mean reducing damage in half?
Well, I mean like the right clicks from people are like they're not making his HP bar move as much as I thought they should, but. Yeah, it's proven to be valuable, but I think SG Esports are better being reliant on big ultimates, grouping up as 5, and forcing Vega Squadron to have to play reactionary.
Yeah, again, with the Tiny opening, Tiny just feels way stronger, in my opinion, than he was in the previous patch because of that magic resistance that he got.
Although Treant has been respect banned.
Yep, I don't blame them. Zayak made a good case for that ban.
Yes, absolutely. And probably too good of a case that I think their next series may be facing some bans. If they win this, I know Fnatic is watching upstairs, and they were like, in much more casual language, they're like, wow, this Treant Protector is really annoying. And that's like a euphemistic way to say it, but yeah, Zayats was doing a lot of work on it.
In the previous 2 games in the first phase bans, Underlord was both a presence and ignored so far, anyway. Could still see him pop out.
I mean, there are ways to deal with Underlord in the laning stage, but it just feels a bit too strong. He provides you so much in terms of damage output, the early Roche that you want, and oh, that's a forgotten hero.
Yeah, CIS loves it, and it was very frequently banned out against Fly to Moon, but I just figured that once you can't teleport lane creeps, everyone's like, do I really want a hero that can't do anything for like the first 60 seconds of the game?
So this is a really great Chen game. Like, they opened up with 2 supports. One of them is Bane, which is a lane bully, but if Chen comes to your lane, you're basically just a creep. You're not doing anything. And same goes for Tusk. Like, he doesn't provide you too much. This is already going to be a good Chen game they can play. I mean, Chen was nerfed. You can't send back your own creeps for the equilibrium, but still does his thing after minute 1.
Yeah, and the offlane has been going fairly fine for Vega Squadron in each of these games. That he doesn't really need the help. Blizzy has been doing consistently well. The the Night Stalker last game was really strong, and I guess now as Bane, you just maybe be an enfeeble machine on the mid lane, but Vega Squadron know that that's really the only thing that Bane can do now, so might as well pick a mid laner that is not as reliant on farming early on, or can at least farm with spells.
10 seconds remaining.
That Prophet is still in the pool, not picked up. I think it was ignored in both of these games.
Yeah, it was.
Which of the openings would you rather like to play? Which is the stronger one? Because I like SG's opening a lot.
Yeah, well, SG's is definitely more meta, and there's a big question mark over Chen in maybe the 2 patches ago before he got the teleport nerf. I would definitely take Vega Squadron any day of the week. I haven't really seen much Chen ever since the nerf, and I don't like. I always thought it was a bit clowny to be able to send back creeps, and I didn't really think it was like a core aspect of the hero, because like Lich was very popular for a brief period of time, and then like whenever the range creep experience got changed and melee creep experience got changed, then people were still picking him, and he was still good, and they were like, wait, I guess like the hero is still viable even if we don't have to go for like weird clown tactics, and so I think Chen is still good, and so I give my opening to Vega Squadron.
Yeah, Dragon Knight picked up OD banned out by SG, one of the better heroes. You don't want to have those beefy cores, so they could go for Underlord if they wanna. But seems like they are going with the comfort picks. Like this
Slayer, Rubik, Zayat's Chen.
There's no surprise, really, right? As in,
For Rubik?
for the Rubik pick,
Yeah.
anyway.
The biggest surprise is that they waited until Phase 2. But SG, as you can see from their bans, they're more concerned about core pickups. So ban out the Terrorblade, which I don't really think that was entirely necessary. I mean, like, Palantimos did an exceptional job, but I don't think you're like, oh god, this Terrorblade, not again.
It is, there he is.
Yeah.
I
I mean,
guess
no
it-
surprise. The
No.
OD is one of the best heroes you can have against the Underlord because he's so tanky and you just provide free intelligence for him.
But you don't have magic resistance anymore. Think about the Firestorm damage. And think about Rubik stealing Firestorm also, which is going to be quite a bit of a problem. Rubik has a lot of stuff. You get Fiend's Grip for free. Snowball is also pretty easy to do. DK Stun and Firestorm all are exceptional steals.
Yeah, Underlord is a great hero against the Tiny because of the percentage-based damage.
But you get magic resistance now. You're not thinking in 7.13 terms.
Oh yeah, I need to switch. Sorry.
You keep defensive null field on all the time. No damage. We'll see what Vega Squadron want to send mid, because DK is a very conservative mid, and I don't think you need to dual mid it. Because the only reason I put Bane in that role was because, like you said, Chen kind of abuses a Bane who's in a side lane.
They will need to pick a strong laner for a bottom lane. By bottom lane, I mean safe lane for SG. So again, with the Night Stalker, that's an offlane Night Stalker, which is gonna get help from Chen. That's again a strong lane. A lot of pressure on your safe lane.
Mm-hmm. And more vision, which again was a real key to success for Vega Squadron in Game 2.
5 seconds remaining.
So you need most likely a safe lane carry for SG Esports, although they could send the DK there if they do like the matchup versus a Chen Night Stalker, which does seem like a pretty difficult matchup, but I guess Bane may be able to help out, or you're looking for a mid laner.
What type of core does it need to be? Like, we already have some push coming out from SG. They got the team fight as well. It feels like they can be fairly greedy with their 5th pick if they want it to be.
Yeah, and plus they'll get 10th pick, so I think it'll depend on what Vega
Yeah.
want to do here.
Okay.
So it's most likely, again, going to be Undershock Tiny. It was Undershock Tiny in Game 2, yeah. So you're looking for, like, again, I don't think that Vega Squadron go for late game carries. So if
Apart
Vega
from
Squadron...
previous game.
but
Yeah.
yeah, exactly, apart from the
They
previous
could
game.
go for Lone Druid, in my opinion.
Again?
Or they could get a hero that does well against the Underlord in the laning stage.
Yeah.
With the rotations from Chen after he leaves Night Stalker's lane. So something that's not his Lifestealer in the pool. No, he's banned
it's
out
been
in the
banned out
first.
every game. They really,
Juggernaut
phase.
does okay in the lane.
Jug is alright. If
would
you want
say
to get a
Fant-
bully, like you could get the Monkey King against the Underlord, one of the better matchups.
I would say Phantom Lancer, but I don't know if Palantimos plays it that frequently.
Won't later on the illusions just die too fast? Oh, they go for the troll after banning out the gyro.
So taking that pick from SG in the previous game, because I could have seen Troll for SG as well, but helps out with the push, which was mainly just Tiny and Chen, and these days Chen wave push, especially against an Underlord, is unreliable. So this is a more stable way to be able to take objectives, even if you have to stand in a Firestorm.
Do you like Vegas draft?
It's going to depend on this 10th pick for SG Esports, because right now I think Troll can get abused. Bane, like you had mentioned Batrider in the previous game as a method of abusing Troll Warlord, I think Bane can kind of fill that role as well. Not as well because Rubik's in the game, but Troll Warlord has the potential to get kited here, and he's going to need a pretty early BKB, I feel. So if SG Esports can have like a pretty mobile carry...
They could go for Troll Warlord, maybe just...
What?
Sorry, for Arc Warden. That's their secret weapon, but he's not a strong laner, especially when Chen decides to bully you. But I could see them going for it.
I think Gyrocopter would be pretty solid.
It's banned out.
Oh yeah, it's banned.
Well, they got only a couple of seconds left to think about it. This is, of course, the deciding game, but don't worry. Even the loser is not going home just yet. It just has to play on Elimination Saturday, where we are going to say goodbye to 4 teams. And SG, go for the Timber. We haven't seen Timber all week.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan.
You guys are haters here.
Yeah, they don't have too much burst damage besides Tiny early on, and if he gets it could be a good Timbersaw game, but later Troll can easily build into Silver Edge, just break him. Same goes for a Dragon Knight, so that could be the item that Vega is looking into. If they shut him down early on, I don't know. I feel like Vega Squadron lineup just has it. Like they're gonna be aggressive early on with the Chen with the first, second nighttime, and we'll roll over them.
What do you think, Tsunami?
In the previous game, I had mentioned how Nightstalker didn't really have anyone important to silence, and yet they still won pretty dominantly. And now you pick a Timber who has a big sign on his head and say, hey, please don't let me cast spells. So I'm going to go Vega Squadron again.
I think Vegas over the entire series has looked like the stronger team here, so I'm gonna, for the first time, well, second time, I'm just gonna flip. I'm just going for the team that wins the previous game. That's my strat right here. Great strategy. But it is game 3 here for SG and Vega. Let's head over to ODPixel and Gods.
Thank you very much, Shiva. Yes, game 3, the deciding match between these two sides, SG and Vega Squadron. I'm ODPixel, I'm here with Gods. We'll see the two lineups. The finisher there, the Timbersaw from the side of SG that Adriano is going to be playing on. Panel didn't seem to be too big of fans of it. Just sort of understand their viewpoint, or do you kind of like what they've done there, SG?
It's not like a massive counter to anything that's coming out of the other side, which is where I feel like Timber normally is picked. I mean, yeah, it's pretty good against Tiny. He's a strength hero. There's Nightstalker too, but to me, it's like they still got Penitence, they got the Lift, the Control, they got the Troll to do some good damage. I think they can deal with a Timber this game. We'll see. But for SG, I mean, I have a little more hope. I like the Underlord pick. I think that's a very strong addition to them. Gives them great Roche taking potential. I say that, but none of their other heroes really kill Roche. But does at least maybe with Costabile having a few items set them up to take Roche. So we'll see how it works for them.
Oh, coming in with this smoke movement, SG. We'll see if they find anyone here with this wraparound. At the moment, there are 3 members of Vega Squadron down on this bottom lane.
See how Zaitz can do on the Chen. His camp's being blocked out early on as this smoke wraparound. He's going to come very close to the Vega heroes.
Zaitz and Blizzy in a good position to keep the distance. And SG with that smoke, they won't get a kill, but they do manage to get the ward down.
Well, they ping the camp. I think they have an idea of what just went down with that rotation.
As they will catch, yeah, they see them
Who's
with their
going
own
for
ward.
the runes here? There's like no one top. Just a Tiny. I guess Tiny's going to suddenly cash in. Very surprised SG didn't stick around to pressure those runes. Chen level 1, very weak hero, though the Blightstone gives them a little bit more with the right clicks. They're going to lift here. They're going to lose 4 runes.
They've got 3 of them.
Yeah. Looks like Underlord will get the top one.
I'm going to try and give Adriano a bit of a chase down, but Blizzy not quite close enough to get the slow from the Void.
Yep.
So Adriano will be fine. Has that point in the reactive to start off this lane with, and Cat will be there at the moment to back him up on the Bane. But we'll see what sort of movements SG make with their supports once they see the laning situation coming out from Vega Squadron.
Yeah, Chen needs to find a big creep, and he has both big camps on the right side of the map blocked out, the one in his jungle as well as the enemy jungle, so he needs to really get himself deep into the SG Esports jungle if he wants to get himself a good creep here. And he'll have access to the big camp on the far left, which may just have to be where he goes. He's actually pulling waves. I guess you're a Chen, you're like, what do I do here? They say they may actually be in trouble.
The other court actually TPing over to get involved here with Cat. Cat, he has the Nightmare. They don't have enough punch, though, to bring down
Oh dear.
the for Chen, as Chen is able to TP himself straight out of there.
Yep. Good little play. That's going to push the wave out a bit, even though he didn't get the full creep wave drag. It's kind of doubles up the creep wave, and you know, it's a Chen. If you can find something to do in the first minute of the game, you're feeling pretty good because there's no neutrals to snag, which is where he's headed now.
So they can get done here on the mid lane as backup will be there for the DK top lane. Laposa just keeping Slayer backed off here, so Slayer can't get a look in. Slayer is just trying to disrupt the farmer. Laposa keeping him away from this creep wave to make sure that Undershock's Tiny can get a good start to the game, as we saw obviously in game 2 how much Undershock could do with his Tiny off the back of a good opening to it. And so far, so good for him on this top lane.
As for the mid lane, it's the Troll who's actually headed there and having an alright time so far against a Dragon Knight. Not the most exciting matchup. We'll see a bit of a farm trade top lane though.
For the Avalanche, a bit of the body blocks there from Zayas. That's your first blood. Wraparound comes in from Zayas with the Chen play, with that Hellbear smash, that extra bit of burst to help bring down this level 2 Underlord.
Much more of the old school classic Chen, you know, you start in your own jungle, you get a creep, you head to your safe lane, you get a kill, then maybe grab another creep and head to the mid lane and get a kill. We'll see no longer the off lane Chen being played like kind of the old, or the recent patch that was changed.
And we see Theolacore head over to try and provide a bit of safety for his Underlord Laposa, as he keeps eyes on the Chen's movements.
Yep. He's definitely the problem hero to worry about. He can set up a lot of kills on the map with the Penitence plus Blightstone, setting things up, and definitely something that Tiny can combo very well with. I think that's largely why they went the Tiny in the safe lane over the Troll, is that the Tiny with the Chen up there, as well as the support Rubik, have much greater kill potential than this Troll. And Troll versus DK, he's going to farm just fine. The Enfeeble is going to mess with him and slow it down, reduce his farm, but he is still getting alright enough farm with the axes as well.
And we'll see when the next player is going to be coming from Zayas, as he is heading towards the middle lane.
Yep.
Bottom lane, in terms of the farm between Blizzy and Adriano, 14 for 1 on Blizzy. Adriano with the slight lead at the moment, 18 to 1.
I mean, Blizzy's doing great. All things considered, that Chen pushing the wave under the tower with the double wave really made it a lot easier for him, but things start to get hard now that Timber has levels. 2 points in Whirling Death. He can just keep on spamming that anytime Night Stalker comes close. And that's going to pressure him out of this lane, or pressure him to use a salve.
Mid lane,
oh my gosh, the golems.
Indeed, Zayas there, taking control of the ones behind, so we could get that extra split off, get that extra nuke damage from the split Mug Golems. Very, very nice little cute play there from Zayas on his Chen.
They do absurd amount of damage in early game. I mean, all stages, it's a lot of damage potential when you can get those little shard golems out.
Theolacore tried to get in on the action, but the turnaround play is going to be there with a quick toss and telekinesis underneath the tower. Vega getting a 3rd kill.
Yep.
Managing to just control these lanes a little bit better than SGR. As SG still unable to find a kill onto Vega Squadron in these first 4 minutes.
We'll see if they want to make any moves soon there. The Tusk is really the hero that wants to be getting active, setting up kills, and they find it here.
Yeah, that looks up at the shot. Oh no, not the shard that Theolacore wanted. Ends up saving Undershock.
Yikes.
Pushing him out. I mean, that was probably the change coming into play. Obviously, change that happened quite a while ago with the shard cast point. But pushing him out rather than actually trapping him. So they will miss out on that kill on Undershock, as Undershock gets a free trip back to base.
And that's one of the strong points about the Chen, is that if you are in the neighborhood and you hear someone needs to go back to base, they don't have to walk. You send them back and then they can instantly TP. So he was out of lane for about 10 seconds total there, and able to bring back new items for himself to help bolster up his laning stage.
And that was a 3-man attempt as well from SG, so quite a few resources put into that trial on taking down Undershock's Tiny, but unsuccessful.
Yep. We'll see this nighttime go on, and for now, Blizzy happy just to stay in this bottom lane, continue playing the farm game. With the other 2 lanes going pretty well, there's no urgent need for him to rotate. If he rotates, he wants to make sure he gets a kill, and someone like Troll in the mid lane is not a very good partner for setting up kills. Dragon Knight very tanky. It almost feels like the best lane to get kills is top lane, but that's a very long way for him to go. If he TPs up there and doesn't find a kill, or Underlord just backs off because he scouts it out with an observer, which they've got there, it feels like wasted time. So I think Blizzy rightfully just staying in this bottom lane, even though it is nighttime.
We're also starting to see this mid lane get a lot trickier for the Troll, though, with the Brief Fire and Enfeeble being scaled up. It's getting to the point where it's pretty much impossible for him to get the CS once the 2 debuffs are upon him, Palantimos. And so we can see 34 for 15 on Costabile compared to the 20 for 4 on Palantimos.
Yep. This Bane has just been an Enfeeble spammer in the mid lane.
So they've got a double damage on Blizzy. Straight in across the tree line. There'll be an attempt for a defensive nightmare from Cat, but it's not enough to save them. The Illicore as well, trying to lead him with a snowball, but there's 4 members of Vega here ready to fight. As they take down 2, Cat will try for the TP out and will be able to make himself back to base safely, but that's a 5th kill in a row for Vega Squadron, and they're straight onto putting pressure very early on to this tier 1 tower.
Feels very clever stuff from Vega, and particularly Blizzy there. He doesn't rush his rotation. Like, nighttime hits, but he stays bottom until 6 minutes and waits for a rune. Coincidentally, it's a DD rune, perhaps the best rune he could get for that rotation, and also make sure that he has supports there. Both Rubik and Chen collapse in the mid lane. DK is a very hard kill for Nightstalker to get if it's just Troll, but with 4 heroes, they have more than enough damage.
They're looking to try and chase him down again. Again, trying to keep him safe with the Nightmare. Cat will be enough to allow Costabile to back himself away to the tier 2 tower. Vega Squadron really turning up the pressure in these early stages of the game. The farm is still there for Adriano. This bottom lane Timbersaw, it's sort of going to be eyes on him for SG to see what Adriano can do off the back of having a very strong lane. Yeah,
Timber always feels like a hero you can just ignore, though. If he's having a good game and a great start and free farming away, as long as the other 2 lanes are going fine, I feel like 9 times out of 10 you're in a fantastic position and going to win the game. And for Vega, definitely winning the mid lane after those couple of kills, and top lane Tiny farming very well. His Blink Dagger should be coming at a pretty good pace here, assuming nothing major changes. And the big issue here for me with SG is they don't really have any good heroes to rotate. Timber, he theoretically could, but he doesn't really have the best setup. Ice Shards is really the best thing they've got right now. If Timber wants to rotate to another lane, he needs the Ice Shards to block somebody in, so it's going to be very tough for SG to actually get any kills going.
Yeah, well, just really about the farm game with their 3 cores. They are still finding CS.
Yep.
Despite the plays coming through top lane, a bit of a look towards Undershot. The Shard block off, but Undershot will be sent back to base. Gets a bit of damage out on the way out, and he is back and safe.
Yep. Underlord's one of those heroes that it feels great when you can get away with playing it, but if your lanes are losing and you need to like start ganking and smoking it back in the game, it's a hero you're like, man, I wish we didn't have an Underlord who just wants to farm in the offlane, because that's what this hero effectively needs to keep on doing. He's not someone who's going to TP to fights. He's not going to have early points leveled up in Pit of Malice to be that effective as well. So it's very hard to start making moves if you're in SG's shoes. You're kind of forced to just keep on farming with all 3 cores until you get something like a DK initiation item, whether it's a Blink or a Shadow Blade. These are the kind of games where you lean more towards the Blink because it's cheapy, it comes online sooner, and it's like kind of less greedy. Doesn't get counted by the sentries, so we may have to see Costabile rush that one.
See the Illicore there trying for a bit of a catch onto Slayer. He's able to keep his distance with the Rubik. Adriano now getting some damage done onto this bottom tower.
Yep.
Very slow though, of course, not the biggest of right clicks on Adriano's on the Timbersaw until he gets that talent and top lane. Undershot. Able to get the kill onto Leposa. Dies beneath the tower, and they find him. The Illicore is seeing if he can catch anyone out on the retreat. We'll be able to find the Centaur.
Yeah, not the most scary Tusk right now, just level 4. But perhaps a Timber TP is what they're going to be worried about. Timber really doesn't want to TP. He's going to TP up top though, but he wants to make sure he gets some kills. There we go. Tusk will guarantee him 1. He leaves the bottom lane. It's not the biggest kill for him, with the nice send back once again coming into play. And this really exposes the bottom. Now they know Timber cannot fight bottom. If you're Vega, you go all heroes bottom lane.
Only got 2 down here at the moment. Undershock and Blizzy are trying to fight into the 3-man of SG. Now Palantimos comes across to join them as well. Undershock with the toss back, tossing Costabile into the clutches of Palantimos. He'll turn with a quick stun to try and hold back the troll, but a tree's thrown into the face of him from Undershock.
Yeah, great play.
And the Vega Squadron reacting to that attempt from SG, as you say, reading the situation, knowing that they would have the upper hand.
There's one hero you're kind of scared of if you're Vega, and it's Timbersaw. So you play keep away. He goes to a lane. You never play the lane that Timber's playing. Like, they have not been contesting him at all in this bottom lane. They even let him just start chipping away and harassing the tier 1 tower. And the second he TP's top, everyone on Vega just starts going bottom. Anyone who can TP goes down there. Anyone who can't just starts walking down there. Tiny, Nightstalker, they go down. They use the Nightstalker ultimate. I think the first use of it this game, knowing that it's a very weak point for SG when Timbersaw can't TP into fight.
The Illicore trying to chase down Slayer. Slayer telekinesis, can keep the distance, get himself away from the Tusk. Got 4 members SG towards the mid lane, trying to look for a bit of action themselves, potentially get some damage done to this tier 1 tower, but it's leaving the bottom lane open. They did rift away from this, so Blizzy able to really pressure in that bottom creep wave.
Definitely one of the weak points of the Timbersaw is that if your enemy, if you don't have teammates who can like force fights or initiate for you, you can't really do a whole lot. You can just do what we're seeing Adriano do, which is just creep skip waves, pressure towers, but he doesn't push fast. If this were push fast, it'd be very scary because if you ignore him, he's going to take your towers. But again, ignore Timbersaw pushes towers very slowly. And that means that Vega can just focus on winning these other 2 lanes at all times.
Seeping down it, looking to open up onto the poster. Undershock straight away in with the blink combo. Not quite enough damage to burst him down, but there's the back. Stolen Snowball Slayers in, close to the gap, burst him down. TP reactions coming out from SG though. They want to try and fight back. The Timbersaw on the front lines, quick telekinesis to drag him back, but Adriano looking for the chase. He's got the Chakram onto Blizzy. They'll be able to get at least 1 here with the Night Stalker kill. Can they get anything more? They chase down Undershock, but Undershock blinks himself back to safety. So SG make the response and are able to at least take Blizzy down.
This time a bigger kill than just a support with the Timbersaw rotation. He's starting to get a bit scared. Points in Timber Chain, very important as far as being able to chase down these kills.
Zayt's actually able to save both for himself and Undershock there with the send back onto Undershock, the TP out from himself, and now they could maybe thinking if they could try for a counter play here. Adriano pretty hard to go upon as he does have the completed hood.
Definitely seeing the idea and intent with this Timber pick.
They're looking towards him, but straight away the Fiend's Grip actually comes out from Cat on the low ground. They're trying to chase, but the Snowball's there, buying time. They'll turn straight towards Zayt with the Elder Dragon Form, Costa Bar ready to fight. They've cut down one as they bring down the Chen. The Chakram controlling Undershock. So SG here, they may find a second. Firestorm, Amru comes through from the poster they have. They've taken down Undershock.
Yeah, I think they fell away from the game plan too much. Avoid the Timbersaw at all costs. This hood, he's unkillable, and that's really the strength and the intent behind this last big Timber is this is a great Timber game. It's just not a great Timber lineup in a sense. Like their draft doesn't build around the Timbersaw well, but it definitely, if you had other cores with the Timbersaw, it'd be like SG would, I feel like, would have a far superior draft. But what it is this Timbersaw that can play very well alone. He just doesn't have good teammates to enable him.
Quick rift away from the mid lane as they look towards bottom, hoping to try and get a bit of a catch onto Palantimos.
Yeah, I think Vega just need to keep avoiding Timbersaw, have the... Yeah, Troll going Battle Fury. I like this build. I think you can just play a greedy farming game, play in your jungle if you're scared, play on the other side of the map with the Timbersaw, and for Tiny, keep looking for kills with this Blink Dagger on some of these squishier heroes. The supports, I mean, I guess the Dragon Knight Underlord are very tanky, which is the hard thing. All 3 cores are hard to kill, but even just killing supports and continuing to farm is a decent way to progress as a Tiny. Damage is going to be the big question mark for Vega's lineup this game, and that's why you see something like a Battle Fury on Troll, as he needs to get a lot of items if you want to be able to kill this tanky SG frontline.
Vega looking for the Roshan. And they should get away with it here with SG having their majority of the heroes down towards bottom. Theola, of course, heading over towards the pit, but not much really a lone Tusk can do, as indeed Vega find the space to take Roche and get the Aegis into the hands of Palantimos' Troll.
It's like Vega, a little smoke, may just find a pick or 2 with this. Troll having an Aegis. Kind of just a denial Aegis and a farming Aegis in some ways. I don't think we'll see them suddenly grouping up to take a 5v5 fight because they have this necessarily. They still have very few ways to deal with the Timbersaw, and Troll is just not really fight ready. He's going Battle Fury. You don't pick Battle Fury to complete it and go push. You continue to farm.
Undershock finds a quick grab onto Cap Bane as he is wandering out alone. And with Vega down here, they'll try for the push onto a tier 1 tower. Trade going to be looked for by SG as they start pushing up top.
Yep.
As some just D-balls getting placed down as we see Vega starting to take control of SG's half of the map here.
SG kind of doing the same thing top, so we're seeing mirror plays from both teams. SG not really able to do much about an Aegis on Troll. At the same time, Vega don't really want to force a big team fight while they've got this Troll somewhat not under farm, but at least not really item ready. SG just happy to continue to tank up. They've got the Hood and likely Pipe coming on Underlord. They've got a Crimson Guard queued up. DK's got drums into Blink Dagger, so everyone getting very tanky on the SG Esports side.
Vega will start to back off now that this Dark Rift is coming in. On the side, though, already they've found the catch starting to open up.
He just TP'd to the shrine. He's not afraid of TPing into 4 or 5 heroes.
See if Adriano can get any sort of catch to close the gap onto Zayats. Chakram Slow will connect. Zayats trying for the TP out. They got anywhere to cancel it. They don't. Zayats will be able to get himself out to safety. And the rest of Vega Squadron are able to run themselves away from the response from SG. Blizzy picks up an Invis. Maybe him and Undershot can find a play to make. They're heading towards the mid lane. It is the Underlord on his own. Laposa, he's pretty beefy with the Hood of Defiance. We'll make a bit of an attempt onto him here. Can they get this kill complete? They'll pop the nighttime, but they won't chase. Laposa backs away up to the high ground. And Vega Squadron not wanting to go that little bit further to try for that kill.
Hood and Raindrop, he is, yeah, mighty tanky. I like itemizing so you don't get comboed by a Tiny is always a good thing to do as a core hero. Particularly ones that often is solo pushing and split pushing a lane like an Underlord. He wants to just go to a lane by himself, rain some fire down and just continue to farm and then back off. And a hero like Tiny with the Blink is very scary to do that against, so you have to have the survivability against it. And despite the dire side having Aegis, it's really SG who are forcing towers a lot more right now because their lineup is really at a peak timing at this point. Unfortunately for them, it just so happens that they lost the Aegis at a really bad time, which kind of limits their ability to play too aggressive, even though they can still take towers.
Look at the Blink Dagger on Costa Bar, so a little bit better of a way for SG to kick off these fights.
Yep.
They can get Costa Bar in on the front lines. In fact, he's got a lot of stuff to come out to him. The completion of the drums also having to be held behind as they are still without the courier for 5 seconds.
Yeah, he's had the drums complete for a long, long time.
Mid lane, Adriano. Closing on to Slayer. Laposa has got the root. Turns with the telekinesis, but the Fiend's Grip's there to hold down the Rubik. Slayer will fall.
Yeah, things looking pretty good the last few minutes for SG with all the towers they're getting. They're going to take out 3 tier 1 towers in a couple of minutes, and we'll see what Vega can do about it. Tiny is threatening to come in from the side here.
Laposa ready to rift the team away. Get the tower, and they'll get out. In fact,
nicely done. Oh,
maybe seeing if they can find a catch here. Costa Bar, as we say, does have the Blink Dagger. Palentinos turns, slows him down. Is he going to be able to find Zayats? He's not. Didn't quite have the Blink Dagger out to him. It was still on its way out on the courier, so could not quite close the gap.
Definitely one of those moments where courier being dead has a big impact. Even just the drums there would have given him enough movement speed to get the stun off. But the Blink Dagger is now completed, and this is something Timbersaw really needs from a teammate, is a good initiation. A Blink Dragon Tail is going to be just able to set up a lot of Timbersaw's damage output. It can't always really hit that Chakram all that easily once Hirosaki getting good movement speed, and having DK to also soak up spells, because that's something Timbersaw doesn't want to be controlled too much. If he wants to dish out damage with his Timber Chains and Chakrams, Whirling Death, he really needs Dragonite to tank up some of those disables.
So he can get with the smoke. Ready to make a play with the Blink straight away. Costa Bar immediately on top of Slayer. They jump forward with Adriano. They've got the burst. Take down the Rubik. SG putting some pressure onto this tier 2 tower. Indeed, despite being behind in kills and net worth, hitting back hard against Vega Squadron.
Found the Bane.
Palantimos is getting spaced down bottom with Zayats to get the tier 2 bottom in return, but potentially losing this tier 2 mid.
Kind of game where we're going to see Vega do a lot of split pushing, avoiding this 5-man death ball. It's a very slow-moving, tanky death ball, but
Posa did try for the TP out, then
does
does
not
get
have a Dark
cancelled.
Rift this time.
He is sort of stuck here with Blizzy. He's trying to get a few punches onto the tower. I think he knows that he's in a lot of trouble, especially with the TP coming in from the Slayer. He's trying to run. Meanwhile, the bottom lane's in a bit of trouble. The base is getting forced upon here by the Troll Warlord. Vega will clean up the kill onto the Underlord. And Palantimos did get himself away after forcing the reaction out from SG down bottom.
We got a lot of damage.
Got a decent amount of damage indeed done to that tier 3 tower with that split push, Palantimos.
Yeah, nicely done. Good call from Troll. Can't really right-click heroes too well. Timber with all his armor, Dragonite with all his armor, Underlord with all his damage mitigation and armor, damage block, Vanguard, and Crimson coming up. Not a fun game to try and kill heroes. It's definitely a game where you'd rather be hitting buildings, and that's what Troll has in mind anytime SG go push, and taking advantage of the fact that SG push very slowly. They're damn near impossible to initiate in because of their survivability, but they're not going to bring down those buildings particularly fast. The Dragon form the one thing that's like kind of okay for killing buildings. Troll pushes very fast when he's alone. Those towers get a lot more armor when there's like 4 or 5 heroes around them. It's based on how many heroes are there. So Troll solo pushing is going to do very well as a counter pusher.
Zayats Kane getting away with numerous TPs as we've seen on this Chen.
Yep.
Will escape before the rest of the team is able to follow up Adriano and get some sort of a grab onto him. The rest of Vega Squadron running themselves away as well. As SG starting to move around more as a unit. But as we're seeing, Palantimos is finding the farm on this Troll. Him and Undershock still sat at the top net worth.
Yeah, and Troll was kind of number 4 for a while, or like 3, 4, 5 in terms of net worth, but because of the way this game has changed, that has changed as well.
And a look towards Slayer here. I do manage to get the grab on him, the follow-up stun and punch as he's in a bit of a tricky situation.
Yeah. I think the net worth tells a very good story of this game where the Troll, who wasn't really flash farming, suddenly gets this Battle Fury, and as he gets the Battle Fury, SG stops split farming. And once you stop split farming in Group as 5, your opponent's cores who are avoiding fights and farming lanes and split pushing, they're going to accelerate and farm, while Timbersaw, DK, these heroes have slowed down their rate of farm because they're playing together. They're playing in the same lane, they're pushing towers. Tower gold isn't as much as it used to be, so because of that, we're just seeing less economy going the way of SG.
We'll see once again Vega getting very dangerously close to those tier 3 towers. SG trying with the counterplay. They've got the dust onto Palantimos straight away with the Fiend's Grip, holding down the Troll. He's going to get sent back though.
Great position. Zayed's knows, I gotta die for this guy, I will do that.
Absolutely worth it each and every time. The power of the Chen, saving cores like that from situations, you know, his Fiend's Grip, everything getting thrown down onto him. Doesn't matter. Zayed gets him back to safety.
Yeah. They've got a follow-up for this one. No Chen up top.
Undershock. He's underneath that sentry ward as well. Can he get himself out of range? But he can. But they've got another. Yes. He's trying to juke it out. He's not going to be able to get away from this. As they get the vision, Costa will finish the kill.
I think SG really need to play Hero Hunter now. They can't just try brute force down lanes. Taking tier 2 towers is not giving you much gold. Killing these heroes and stopping split push is much more important than trying to take some towers as a 5-man unit. You take a tier 2 tower, meanwhile your opponent's carries have managed to get several thousand gold in items and farm, and they're farming multiple lanes and jungles while you're grouped up. So definitely like the decision to go try and catch the split pushes. Problem is that Chen sendback means Troll gets away despite not having a BKB there, and that's something which SG have to maybe even think of solutions for. How do we stop this sendback?
Here we go, onto the tier 2 tower, SG. Able to really get over to Vega's half of the map now. They're getting stronger and stronger, closing that net worth gap. Each and every tower that they've been able to take. As it is just a 4K lead now for Vega Squadron. 23 minutes in, proving to be a very close game indeed. Still Palantimos at the top on his Troll.
Yep.
As we're seeing the
got the Silver Edge.
Yeah.
Absolutely amazing Silver Edge game. DK passive, Underlord passive, Timbersaw passive. This is the game for Silver Edge. I wouldn't be surprised to even see Tiny pick one up.
So you have to see if they sort of get the chance to close the gaps though, because we've seen some very good sentry play from SG. Preparing for each and every one of these sort of initiation attempts from the Troll and the Tiny.
Yep. And even if you get that Silver Edge hit off, you need either a follow-up stun.
They're looking. They've got the Silver Edge hit onto the Timbersaw. Have they got the damage to follow up this? There's the Timber. There's the Snowball save. They go straight in across 2 of them. They surrounded one. This again. The sendback. It's just the fight's over. Zayed says we don't want to fight here. Goodbye. Slayer goes for TPI. He won't make it, but they're saving their cause every time. The power of the Chen.
I think that was, you know, that was why Iceberg nerfed Chen. He's like, he's seeing this Chen doing all these saves. He's like, that's not fun. We don't want that at TI. Chen saving all these heroes that are meant to die? No. Let's nerf him. But nope, he's still being picked. And that sendback, you've got to actually get a dispel against it, it feels like. If you can just send people back willy-nilly, it's so difficult to kill tanky heroes. If you don't have the burst damage, which this lineup doesn't really have. DK Underlord, no burst whatsoever. Timbersaw, some burst, but not enough.
Yeah, did you buy a nullifier on one of your cores? Or
yeah.
Get a helm, hope for one of the purge creeps. It's
Necro book has purge now, I guess.
That's true.
Necro 3.
Get a Necro book. There's a few options, but none of them really sort of cheap and easy ones. I guess other than that, the simple old school one is just simply kill the Chen.
Yeah, kill the Chen. Go on him
you got to kill the Chen.
Yep.
But even then, as we're seeing each and every time, Zayed's just quick, straight with the sandbags. He's like, we don't want to give this core up, and every time getting getting the two of them out of there. But SG now have the space to head into the pit. And they should get away with this one. Scout will come out from Vega Squadron. They know that it's up, but already Roshan falling very low here to the Firestorm. And SG will be able to clean it up. They get themselves the Aegis and the Cheese. Now moving towards mid. They're actually looking to try and find kills out of this as well. Straight away, Adriano looking for the control, but again, the send back on Slayer. Get Slayer out of there. This time Zayas will pay off his life. But every time, the number of casualties being minimalized by the Chen.
Yep. This is continuing to work wonders for Vega, who maintain a gold lead despite, you know, losing some towers here and there, being unable to team fight. Vega could be feeling they just need enough items to actually kill people.
Oh, they are trying to go in straight away onto the Timber Saw. The self-fuel's up. It's going to be in time to keep safe and turn things around with the grip from Cat. They've found the big kill onto Palantimos.
Chen was dead. You know, that's the key. Kill this goddamn Chen, and then suddenly you can actually do something. I think these cores have to play a lot more carefully when the Chen is not sitting behind them.
Oh, is he going to have this? Costa Bow? No, he's not. Blizzy's out of there. And Blizzy actually going for another fire for the side of Vega Squadron. He's got it queued up from south. It's going to be very nice against the BKBs down the line as such. Make sure that they can get these big kills onto the targets.
Yep.
And he's got a decent amount of gold actually towards it on the Night Stalker. I think at about 3k at the moment.
Yeah, this Night Stalker scales pretty damn well with his talents as well. 200 health, 15 strength, very tanky. Get another 50 damage or movement speed at level 20. Drums is a pretty nice stat item, so definitely a hero to worry about as far as how he's going to scale. But SG has managed to kind of control this mid game very well, getting enough kills to kind of keep things pretty even.
And they will lose the Bane up top as Cat pushes out. Costa Bar is trying to find something off the back of it. He has got the other core coming in as well, but Vega Squadron are staying hidden in the trees. They're thinking about going for this. Looking towards it, they have Undershock jumping in with the burst, but there's the counterplay coming in with the snowball. Ready to turn things around. The other core's there with the save. BKB comes out from Costa Bar. They look towards this Night Stalker. He's pretty tanky and will be able to fly his way out of the shards, so they won't get the return play. Down bottom of the poster did manage to finish off Slayer.
Yep. Slayer was doing some cheeky deep pushing, but got found by two heroes.
And we are sort of seeing definitely a bit of the downside of SG's draft. The damage output isn't really too phenomenal against some of these big tanky cores that Vega Squadron do now have. Very hard for them to really quickly burst anyone down. Unless sort of the Timbers there, they really do need Adriano to sort of be there to deal out the damage in these sort of little pick-off potential.
Chen's completed nags. This is an item that always feels scary when you're like 5-man pushing Death Ball like with a Granite Golem or a Dragon, but in this kind of a game I feel like the Ags is not all that worrisome. The most annoying part is going to be if he can find some of those Black Dragons and can split push with them. I think split push has proven to be very difficult for SG to deal with, but I don't feel like this is a giant game changer in terms of the game suddenly swinging Vega's way because they have an Ag Scepter.
We can see there on the graph just sort of the way that SG have managed to stabilize this game.
Very even game, and it's kind of stayed that way. Vega relying on a lot of split push.
SG will look to put pressure onto the tower and rift immediately up towards the top lane to stop the pressure that Vega are applying to their own.
Yep, they didn't finish the bot tier 2 because of the glyph. They would have if they were finishing it off and trying to dark rift out after, but not the case.
Both tier 2s being defended by each respective side. And interesting here from Adriano, queuing up the Heart of Tarask on the Timber Saw, not necessarily the most common of item pickups on this hero. But just wanting to go for the full tank really, with the Heart, the Bloodstone and the magic resist from the hood, he's going to be very, very beefy.
Yes. Not sure how I feel about this. I think I'd rather see him get like an Ag Scepter if he wants some extra survivability, because it's that like nice in between where it's survivability and damage output.
See in the jungle there, a bit of a catch.
Yeah, this Rubik's been way too deep a few times. He's trying to get down deep wards, and I think he feels like this is one of those games where it's slow, it's dragging a lot. He has no real purpose at this time being. Like, there's nowhere for him to be. The Chen has a purpose. He needs to sit behind his cores and save him with the send back. For Rubik, it's like, well, we're not going for kills, we're avoiding fights. What do you do as a 5-position Rubik when you're avoiding fights? not a whole lot. So he's just trying to get down some deep wards for the team. Gets caught out now twice in a row. It's not a big deal that he dies, but he would like to get those wards down undetected.
So, Adriano knew that Palantimos was about. Palantimos able to keep himself hidden. There is backup coming in.
Oh, I guess wrong. I guess he didn't see him go down. Yeah.
I guess he thought he cut himself into trees, but indeed he did not. Adriano just went straight down the lane. So Palantimos unable to find any sort of setup for the rest of the team to come in upon.
Tough kill. Tiny had to be there, and even with the Tiny, I think that Timber is very tanky.
Yeah.
With the idea behind the Heart is that he just survives. You go on him with a Silver Edge, doesn't matter. He will survive the entire Silver Edge duration because of his Heart of Taras giving him a buttload of health.
Yeah, you look at the lineup of Vega Squadron, they don't have a lot of sort of magical nuke. It's pretty much what the Tiny and the Rubik are the two big ones, so chances are in the fights, you're always going to get the reactive armor stacked up.
Ooh. Found a Rubik.
Diving into the base, Hand and God comes through, not enough to save Slayer. Slayer actually buying back immediately, wanting to punish SG.
There's split push up top. Troll does not want a team fight. He wants to go for the split, and I think SG realize they're going to lose this base race.
Yeah, they're dark rifting back almost immediately, coming back towards the shrine. Maybe see if they could get some sort of a catch out. Cat's been
he got the toss!
Has he got him?
He's Yules. He stopped it. Timber was flying across the map. What was happening? I just saw the Timber's mini-map icon like go from one side to the other and back. I don't even know what happened there. I think he Timber chains to stop the toss-up or something.
I think about because I guess if you toss someone up at the same time that they're rifted out, toss works that they always get brought back to the drop point, right?
I mean, unless it's
And then if he Timber chained as well.
I think there's some exceptions. Like I know you can't do that with like Chen Holy Persuasion and stuff.
Oh, that's true. So maybe Rift is one of those as well.
Yeah, I don't know. That looked weird. I want to be able
to it'd be cool if we could see a replay of that.
I just saw that the Timbersaw's minimap icon was like flying all over the place.
Well, yeah. You made it out
yeah.
For now, as it was just the two supports going down. And they do manage to stop that split push being attempted by Palantimos.
Definitely seeing that Troll pushes faster than 5 SG heroes, which is a big problem right now for SG. They've got to get the lanes pushed out if they ever want to go for that. They've got heroes to push out lanes too. Dark Rift allows you to push out the lane, then come back to a push. So I think they really need to get Underlord on the, on kind of the split push duty, stopping that from happening. It does mean they won't have Dark Rift to get out in a team fight, but I think they're just so much stronger in that 5v5 that they don't have to worry about having Dark Rift.
SG, they're coming down for this fight. They're hunting. Who are they going to be able to find? Undershot goes to the BKB TP out. Slayer won't be quite as fortunate though.
Yeah, Slayer's been the punching bag this game. I think that's fine. It's kind of the game plan for Vega. It's not a pretty one, but it's keep saving the cores and do what you can if you're this Rubik to just get info on the map, get some wards down.
Let's see if SG can get anything more out of this. It's just a Rubik down, but he's gone for 50 seconds. SG really continuing to just take more and more control back at this game. The net worth pretty much even, and now the jump in is there straight away. And of course, this Tiny, he doesn't have a BKB. He's not even going to get the chance to react as the grip's there from Cat. That is Undershot gone for 70 seconds. He came out into the lane after getting that BKB TP off back to base. I guess he just didn't expect that quick movement from SG straight over to his half of the map. Let's say he's gone for a minute. There's no buyback. He can't offer anything for this defense.
It's Troll again. It's up to him to stop this push from happening. He's trying to split push. He'll force a Bane TP back. Maybe with the Bane they can kill him, but there's no grip. Without grip, the Troll does not get punished.
And the Dark Rift's going to come in towards the mid lane. As soon as they force back the Troll, they're ready to bring the full 5-man into this push. As they come in, they're looking for kills as well. Straight away, cutting down onto Zayas, closing the gap on the Chen. Mid lane, Blizzy looking for the chase down onto Cat. They've got the damage coming through from Palantimos, and it'll be enough to claim the Bane, but the backup's there for the Underlord. Adriano comes across with the Timber Chain, looks towards Slayer. Slayer forces up the high ground. The Shards will catch him. But at the moment, it's just SG forcing Vega outside of their base very awkwardly. So SG had the space to move in onto the mid lane as well. They're taking the melee racks down from bottom. They're looking to pressure in onto the mid, take a tier 3, take even more. The buybacks come out from Zayas. They've got the detection. They'll be able to catch out this Troll straight away. And Palantimos, he just gets bursted down. He's gone for 80 seconds, has to buy back immediately. As SG, they just move onward. BKB's out from Costa Bill as well as the Elder Dragon form. They're putting serious damage onto this melee rank. They've got the jump onto the side. They catch Slayer outside the base. Vega, they're trying to strike back. They've taken down the DK. They've got the nullifier out to the Underlord. They'll be able to find him as well, as they do manage to force SG away from this middle lane. Adriano will miss the Timber Chain.
Can they kill him, though?
He's incredibly tanky with this harder Tarask and the reactive armor stacking up. He'll turn with the Chakram, looking towards the two of them, but they have the stun, they have the control. Vega Squadron will hold as they get SG out of the base.
Yep.
They kill them all. They do get that tasty bit of gold, but overall they did lose that tier 3 mid. They lost the melee racks down bottom, and they did have to expend the buyback on both Zayat and Palantimos.
Yes, heavy losses. The buyback on the Troll, and you still lose a racks there. They want to go right back the other way and try and maybe take this top lane or force buybacks, take Roshan. Those are the two big things you can do right now. Unfortunately for them, it's a very long Rosh respawn. They just left the pit and it comes back.
Was close. They didn't look. They didn't look long enough.
That is really tough to see, as that would have been much better than taking a T2 tower. It's getting Roshan. Are they going to go
might
scout
check
it?
again.
Yeah, you really just got to keep scouting it every 5 seconds or so at this stage of the game. Night Stalker, he needs to be calling his buddies over. And
they see it's there, but
yeah.
SG, they might have time to get in there and contest this. I say that. Oh, actually, no. Look at the speed that goes down. Absolutely gets ripped to pieces. There's no chance for SG to get to the pit in time, as the Aegis will be picked up. They're trying to snowball for it. SG looking to fight. Adriano goes in with the Timber Saw. They've cut down Zayat. There's the turnaround, and the shot comes in with the Avalanche. The Ancient Black Dragons have been brought in for this as well by Zayat. He's trying to use them as well to force back the support of SG. Adriano still sitting at pretty much full health on this Timber Saw. Slayer turns around with the stolen Chakra, trying to slow them down, but they'll continue to chase. They'll find the kill onto Rue because Vega Squadron have lost 2. They were able to find 2 of SG. And overall, they do. Oh, they've got the cheese on the Underlord. Looks like that wasn't picked up, as he was actually able to get into the pit and take that away. Palantimos, of course, did manage to get out with the Aegis.
getting out of the Aegis and Refresher Shard. Night Stalker with that, I guess. They have no good Refresher Shard heroes. I mean, he's going to have, what, double Darkness, a double, like, Nullifier or something. Nothing too crazy there. I'm not sure if there's anyone he can really pass it to either, so...
I guess, other than that, really sort of the Troll or the Tiny.
Yeah.
Having a double BKB can always be pretty nice in these sort of drawn-out skirmishes.
Yep. I think if Troll maybe chews through his Aegis, you can give it to him, but he's also got the cheese to chew through. But I do like the double BKB is always very handy to have. So for SG, they will have to settle down, perhaps buy some time and wait out this Aegis. Definitely at a point where the Troll is starting to dish out enough damage that he is a problem for even the Timbersaw, theoretically. Timber didn't, I mean, going back to some of these talents, at level 15 he didn't get the reactive armor, which he normally sees. He got the 100 damage, which I kind of like. He was often solo pushing lanes and hitting towers, so kind of makes sense. Obviously, it doesn't. It's one of those talents which is an absurd amount of damage earlier on in the game, but it has anti-synergy with Chakram since you can't attack. But he's just been such a boss this game on the Timbersaw that he's kind of made it work. And
sure. And I guess
other than that death there's no other time where he needed the reactive armor.
No. A lot of the times it's sort of taken over the reactive armor if he feels that there's reasons why he can't really maintain high stacks in the fights. And there is sort of Silver Edge, there's breaks in play, so reasons why he can't always rely on that. And you know, there's sort of the time where he's actually going to have the max extra stacks that he could potentially have. Is pretty low.
He's got 50% magic resistance with all this strength. Plus 15 strength from the talent, the hood, the heart. He's feeling very, very tanky. And I think he recognized on that last death he needs more armor. He buys the Shivers. That's armor as well as attack speed slow. Very good item for him to have, and that's going to make Vega's life even more difficult to kill him.
Mid lane SG, right outside of the base.
Someone's going to get top. Who's on top lane duty? Where's
I've got the Dark
Underlord?
Rift.
No TP?
He's got the Dark Rift available if he needs to bring them back.
I guess they're perhaps trying to do some baiting here. Tusk should be careful.
Just keeping themselves grouped up.
Yep.
SG waiting to sort of see where Vega's play comes out from. Vega themselves, they'll TP Palantimos back to base. So the 4 of them ready to lead out behind this Troll Warlord. See if Palantimos can find an opening.
It's very handy they can just leave the Chen creeps split pushing. Just constantly threatening the top lane, clearing waves using the fireballs. And the rest of Vega can kind of just go around as a unit hunting. Wouldn't even mind seeing like Troll pick up a Boots of Travel so we can like Boots of Travel top if they ever get the lane in with the Chen creeps.
Undershock has, he's got the full AC as well, so if this Troll and Tiny do get into the base of SG, they are going to be able to take these towers very, very quickly, and no sort of surprise there, the favourable win percent with these two heroes on the same lineup, as we were just saying. If they are able to get in with the push, they take the base very quickly.
If Vega win a fight near SG's side of the map, buildings will melt. I mean, like we saw happen to Roche. Battle Trance with Tiny.
Oh, they've got the high ground here, Slayer.
Will destroy them.
Knows what's coming.
You get the fire or the pit? You got the pit. See how things progress from here. Dragon Knight's going to be able to itemize a lot quicker because of the GPM talent. He got that over the Dragon Blood. Does make him a bit squishier against the Tiny and Troll, not having the double armor and regen. And man, this Dire Ward is just scouting everything. This is, you know, Rubik died all these times, and yeah, he's got 10 deaths. He's almost half the deaths on the Vega side, but these wards pay for themselves. You're happy to die 2-3 times to get this handy vision to know what's going on in the map. In a game like this particularly. They may just like smoke under this ward. Were very close to, I think they were just out of the range of it, but the fact that they were grouping there and showing near it should tip Vega off as to what's going on. And they do this as the Aegis expires.
Yeah, Vega Squadron making a quick
they may
back towards the base.
Off too late though.
Indeed, we may see Adriano still able to open something up. He tries to go with the chakram, but an instant silence and send back onto Undershock will be there.
Oh, they all got out, just barely. Costobal couldn't find anyone to initiate on. He even popped the ultimate for this one, so we'll see if they want to go for any kind of a high ground pressure play here. The shrine looks more appetizing. At least it looks safer. Perhaps less appetizing, but more of a comfort food.
Blizzy is going to try and go for the Orchid into Bloodthorn after having this nullifier, so they have that extra sort of bit of lockdown.
Shen creeps just split pushing away, take a tier 2 tower mid, get recalled.
And Blizzy will be able to find a shrine for himself.
He's
heads over.
Looking pretty scary. Has that level 20 plus 50 damage talent, has a Bloodthorn queued up. The nullifier with silences, that's the...
In lane, they have found Undershock. He will pop the BKB straight away. Does the rest of the Vega Squadron coming in for the high ground, but Undershock backs away. Usually with the invis, goes up towards the base. We'll be able to keep the distance. Adriano going to see if he can try and chase down anyone left outside of the high ground of Vega Squadron, and he will find Slayer. Straight in with a quick burst from the chakram. Slayer falls.
Okay. Quick Rubik kill, and they'll take a shrine out of it. I think for SG, it's like they popped the DK ultimate for that attempted teamfight top, and they didn't find anyone, so they just wanted to kind of settle down until next DK ult comes up. Level 25s will be coming into play this game on several heroes fairly soon as well. And we'll see like DK Underlord getting that fairly soon. Same for the Tiny, the Troll, and the Timbersaw already having theirs.
Got the Lotus Orb as well ready from the poster to back up sort of the Timber, especially if Adriano wants to go ham in these fights.
Battle Trance dispels on Troll.
Okay, so...
It dispels...
What were you looking to dispel?
Breathe Fire, the damage reduction. Oh, hold on.
I do get the toss back and the break hit here onto Adriano. Adriano getting a burst for this, but safe. Snowball comes in time. Can they turn this one around, SG? They're underneath the tier 4 towers. Guardian Crease gets popped. The BKB's out from Costa Bile. They turn. They have the route onto this Troll. Get used up into the air. SG surrounding him, cutting him down. They found it. Palantimos gone for 2 minutes. Buys back immediately. They try and turn towards the Dragon Knight. They will find him. Costa Bile will fall 1 for 1. Chasing Vega, wanting to get more on the poster. Looking for the TP out here with the Rift. Can he get them out in time? He can. Takes Cap back to safety. The other core has been left behind. Slayer trying to chase, but the Shard will slow them down as he does blink into the trees. TP's out and will make it away. So, I mean, all in all, SG, they do go a bit deep, but they are able to force out a buyback from Palantimos. So, overall, a play favoring themselves.
Yeah, they're happy about that, and it's not going to be a buyback into a Roshan. It's always, those buybacks feel worth it when you can kill a hero like a Dragon Knight or a Core, and then instantly get an Aegis for the hero that doesn't have buyback. Like a Troll with an Aegis would make up for that buyback, but Roche is not up for 1 minute and 20 seconds from now, so DK going to have plenty of time to be alive to contest that one. That is definitely a good point for SG to be at, having a one core in the game, not with buyback in the hands of the Troll. Very neck and neck game right now.
An incredibly close game 3 between these two teams. Certainly could still go either way.
Yep. Definitely the case. So yeah, Battle Trance Dispel. What? So Nightmare, I guess you can dispel off? Whirling Death, maybe? I'm not sure if that's dispellable. I believe it is. The stat loss.
I think Whirling Death is.
But
Enfeeble isn't.
Enfeeble is not. Yeah, that's the big one. Fiend Script? Maybe.
Is it a soft dispel or a hard
strong
dispel?
dispels only. Yeah, it doesn't. Who knows?
It doesn't say. Come on.
It doesn't say. Is Battle Trance a strong
because
or a soft
what is
dispel?
the other one? Because everyone always takes the other one. Is it Whirling Axis cooldown or something?
Yes.
Yeah. So we do rarely sort of see it. We'll see. We'll see what he's using it to remove.
And does it dispel just yourself or your teammates as well? I'm guessing it means everyone on your team.
I mean, these are all questions that only Gaben can answer, and we'll have to find out ourselves.
Yeah.
As yeah, not the most popular pickup of talents for the Char Warlord, but as we said, we'll see how it comes into play this game.
Yeah. Well, there's a few games where like the mischance of Whirling Axes isn't as big deal against a Timbersaw. And it's SG in the Roshan pit. It's going to get scouted by a Chen creep, but they will kill this fairly fast with the Underlord. And good positioning from Timbersaw to scout out any heroes coming towards the pit.
I'll see what they can get here, Vega. Leading in, Undershock straight away, looking for the combo onto the Bane, bringing Cat down low, they found the kill. Now straight looking for more with the BKB committing onto the Timbersaw. They've got the Nullifier down the Bash as well, they're controlling him up, they've taken him out. Adriano will fall, buys back immediately on the Timbersaw, looking to get back in and help out SG. The Crimson Guard popped, but they're able to tank up and turn towards Vega. They jump forward with the Dragon Knight, get the pick off onto Undershock.
They have to be careful, Vega. They can't afford to lose the Troll here.
They're trying to find the grab with the shards, but can't quite find the control there. Thelo Kors, Palantimos is able to run himself away.
If they hit that Ice Shards, that could have been disaster for Vega. Tiny buys back though, so that's also, I think out of fear of losing the Troll, you cannot afford to not buy back. I love that this Timbersaw has level 2 boots of travel, allowed him to instantly TP into the fight. He didn't have to rely on creeps being nearby or TP like somewhere in a couple thousand range. He was instantly back in with the buyback. Bit of a misplay by Bane there with his positioning. That was pretty questionable that he lets himself get jumped by a Tiny. He was sitting up almost as far forward as the Timbersaw. Not having grip can be very costly in a team fight like that.
Both teams very sort of scared around the pit now. Once again, they, as you say, they're in the situation where if you're Vega Squadron, you've got two of your cores, your big cores without buyback available.
Timbersaw does not have buyback, but he has 13 charges, so that will at least reduce it a bit. It'll be down, it'll probably be still 50, 60 seconds of respawn time. And Vega with BKBs back up feels safe enough to go into Roche.
They've headed in. The Firestorm, Liposa's going to head forward, but immediately the silence, they've got the control onto Adriano. Adriano cannot afford to die. He's been nullified, but he will be able to save himself now. Gets back, they turn, they've got the Fiend Script holding down Undershock. If anything to cancel it there is they're able to force him to the side, send him back. They'll get Undershock out of there, but they'll lose Blizzy.
Yeah, Undershock is now the guy who can't afford to die. Troll is the Aegis, but even Aegis on Troll, with your BKBs down, if you die once, you're very likely dying a second time. So you've got to be very careful at how you play this one. SG may want to press forward. They've got Dragon Form up still for a decent amount of time.
Yeah, Troll has everything. He's got the cheese, the shard, and the Aegis. We'll see if he trades some of that over to his teammates, but
the refresher was handed off already.
He's got to do something quick though, because mid lane, fortification will come out from Vega Squadron, jump forward from Slayer. He's trying to find the opening onto Adriano. Have they got the control and the damage? They come in. Can they burst this man in time? The snowball save comes through. Buy some time here as they go straight in onto Undershock. They keep Adriano alive. Vega Squadron can't quite finish him off. Now looking back towards the racks, SG. Actually, Laposa is saying we want to get out of this one. He's taking them back to base.
Yeah, playing it safe. Rubik had a stolen grip there with a Refresher Shard that was on cooldown. Refresher Shard does have a 200-second cooldown, so he must have used the last one.
I mean, did SG really need to back up there? They were kind of all full health.
I think they're just feeling pedancy and they want to play this cautiously. Yeah. They also recognize that this Aegis cheese Refresher Shard could be very influential on a team fight, so they say, look, let's just wait for a better pick or better initiation. Dragon Form wearing off is a big problem as well for them.
Sure.
So DK getting the Tome was going to get his level 25. Probably see the plus 40 strength there, just more survivability.
Oh, and look at this, straight away jumping into the midst of them all, but Undershock gets the BKB out in time. They've got the Avalanche out, so the few of them can't keep themselves to the side with the Ghost Scepter turns, looks for the Phoenix Grip, but the toss is there. They've lost 2 on SG. Undershock moving in for more. Hey, they've got to try and get Adriano out there. He ulted himself up in the midst of it all. Blizzy turns towards Costabile. The DK now being focused upon by Vega, and they bring him down. 3 down on SG.
Huge kill. Even if the DK buys back, he will not have Dragon Form. That really limits what he can do in defense. Underlord, he bought out. He has no buyback.
He does not. 70 seconds
in.
without
what are you doing? Ooh, that's very costly not having a buyback at this stage of the game.
They
on
need
a
him.
key hero like Underlord.
Yeah, to push out the waves to sort of alleviate some of the pressure that Vega Squadron are now going to look to put in on this middle lane.
Could have just cost them the game there. Bane again, very poor positioning, very far forward, able to get gone on by the Tiny here.
Oh, they jump forward. They've got the telekinesis, Undershock as well with the Avalanche. They've got the nullified down, but again, the snowball save. Buying time here for Adriano, but he's still nullified. This Timber Sword will fall. They've lost the Timber for 70 seconds. They'll lose the Olicor as well, down for 80. He has buyback on the Tusk, but
They're going
now
straight for the throne, I feel.
it's Timber gone for a full minute.
Yeah, I'm surprised they even bother with the racks here.
They're looking to close this one up, Vega Squadron. Straight away, down the mid lane, onto the tier 4s. Silence is there onto the DK. A defensive Nightmare's attempted to pot the BKB, but can Costabile really keep the team off the Ancient? He's trying, but they just focus for the game. The GG well played is called, and Vega Squadron will take the victory here in this best of 3 against SG Esports.
Really fantastic game 3. Love how Vega played it. The Timbersaw definitely threw a wrench in their plans. It caused them a lot of problems. It meant they could never really team fight very well. They had to play this split push game for 95% of the Dota game, but they played around it perfectly. As for SG, I think they also played really well. They understood where they were strong. They didn't deal that well with the split push, but they at least adapted pretty well. A few sloppy misplays at the end there with the buyback on Underlord, with just some of their initiations, but all in all, a great, exciting game 3.
Absolutely, 2 teams proving to be very closely matched here at Star Ladder, and a fantastic series indeed. That last little bit of unavailability of the Underlord to come back into the game, though, proving to be pretty costly for SG, as they just could not hold against that game-ending siege of Vega Squadron. But Vega Squadron, indeed, finding the opportunity to close the game, and some very strong-looking players coming out for the team. We saw Zayats, I think this series certainly showed us a good variety of support performances. His Chen in that last game, the saves were incredibly disruptive to the way that the SG Esports wanted to play. Countless times cores were being saved in sort of positions where, if it was not a Chen in this game, Vega Squadron could have very well lost that game very early on if those sort of saves weren't able to be made by the Chen. Yeah,
all 3 games, Zayats was definitely a stand-up player. For people unfamiliar with this Vega team, which is kind of a newer roster of CIS players, definitely one of the guys who stood out and had a fantastic showing for this Vega team.
And no surprise that we see a lot of players on the Tiny do it, but Undershock Tiny looking very hot as well. But for now, ladies and gentlemen, Vega Squadron take the series 2-1. We'll head you over to the stage for a quick word from the players.
It was a really exhausting match for you, but still here's Blizzy for a short interview. How does it feel to win in front of CIS, like your home crowd?
It's really awesome, like, to be here in CIS, because this public is like they screaming Vega, and it's like really give you a lot of emotions, good emotions. So it's really good, yeah.
It's really great. Let's talk about the patch a bit. Yeah, obviously all the games are getting slower and longer, but what it also changed in your opinion from the point of view of pro player?
You mean last patch?
Yes, yes.
I think they tried to make like push, doesn't work like, but it still work, I think, because when you get towers, you get a lot of space for your core. Even if you get less gold, I think it's still okay if you push, if you have push strategies. So.
Are you comfortable with this kind of Dota, or it's a bit messy still for you?
No, I think I'm very comfortable in our team. Like, we like this patch, we like this meta. Like, our heroes are like really in meta now.
Are you missing your coach here, because I know she hasn't arrived yet?
Yeah, we miss Kips so much. Like, she is always give us some coach things like before the games, and we need it. Like,
yeah. You also will play Fnatic pretty soon. Are you ready? Are you prepared for this match?
Yeah, I think we are really prepared. We have like these games are warm up a bit because we didn't play like for a lot actually. We didn't know we're gonna go on Star Ladder, so we're just warming up now. We're ready for Fnatic.
Okay, have your rest and good luck in the further match. And we are going back to our panel.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Maria and Blizzy. And indeed, it feels like maybe Vega Squadron is like, if we stretch this series out long enough, you know, we'll play until Kips arrive, because she's actually landing somewhere in this evening, I believe.
Really?
Yeah,
or maybe they just want Fnatic to be tired. They were just dragging the game. That's the next level strat, man.
Yeah, it was a close one though. I actually at some point had lost all faith in Vega's chances of victory.
Yeah, if I was going to be wrong 2 for 2 on late game decision making not being their star power, then I was going to be like, what do I even know about this team? I watched them through so many qualifiers, and this game, again, like, it was questionable itemization. You and I were both like, there's no Eon discs on any of these core important like support heroes like Chen, and there was no like Bloodthorn saves to stop Tusk from snowballing everyone.
Yeah,
and so
if Tusk wasn't playing out of his mind, this game could have been over like probably 10-15 minutes ago.
For sure. But he was dragging it out, stretching it. Yeah, I think you can only stretch it out so much though, and it was on the cusp. And I think Timbersaw maybe we were skeptical about the pick initially, and I imagine that they did not want the game to go that late, but it ended up going so, and that's not the late game core that you want in that situation.
They had the window where they needed to be active, but the problem is that one of their cores was not online at the time, and when they were taking the fights, you always had the Dragon Knight, and after that Dragon Form is gone, you can't really go for the towers because you have no tower damage whatsoever. It's really hard. Also, Chen with some godlike saves, they had nothing to dispel it with, and your Timbersaw was forced to go for a Yule Scepter just to get rid of the sandbags, and they did not have a good early game on side of SG, so they needed to group up because they had an Underlord, and you want to have a hero that provides you something. Like Underlord pretty much farms on the offlane, then decides to join a fight later on. Then early stage was kind of sacked for them, so they needed to group up with the Underlord Troll with the Battle Fury, pretty much just split pushed, and even though they were grouping up, they were just getting tier 1, tier 2 towers, and after that the advantage was just way too high. At the end of the game, they itemized really well
like
with the Bloodthorn, not Bloodthorn, with the Nullifiers, and yeah, and
like God said, it was a great Timbersaw game, but not a great Timbersaw team. And it definitely felt that way because the movements were all there. Like you said, you have Underlord, you're moving around, but DK Dragon Form is, you know, it's very cooldown dependent. And so even if you have the right idea, even if you're at the right place at the right time, sometimes you just don't have the power to take objectives quickly.
And the skill here shows like they use their heroes to full potential.
Yeah, my questions about the Chen were mostly eliminated because he was incredibly effective in the early stages of the game. And late game Chen has always been kind of a struggle, but still Zayats was managing to find a place with these Ancient Black Dragons and these Thunder Lizards pushing and showing up at Roche fights and whatnot.
Look at this sandbag, like
every single time.
Zayak was just sacrificing himself, either Zayak or Slayer, who died you want to call it way too many times, but he was placing deep wards of vision for his team so they can split push, and those skills don't matter that much because he does not have a purpose in the game, as God said. Like you can't do anything, like you can't gang with the hero because how the game developed, they just needed to split push, get more items online, and then group up and fight. Silver Edge was, I mentioned it before the game, like the best item. You have 3 heroes to break them.
Yeah, it just felt like it did take very long though for them to be able to kill them. This fight as well lasted for such a long time.
Yeah. Another snowball save and the full duration grip from Bane. Like someone stop it! I can hear him yelling it.
Someone disable this guy! But yeah, and Sioma was trying also. He was stealing Fiend's Grip every once in a while, but aside from that one time that Cat was near the Roche pit, Bane's positioning was pretty exceptional this game, but it only takes a few mistakes.
That's important to note though. We are knowing that SG is playing with a coach, and that is the Bane. Cat's performance overall, I would say, still pretty good. Yeah,
I think that going into the next series against Na'Vi, you I don't have as many questions about SG as I did before the series, because I was like, they haven't played in a few weeks. Like, are they keeping up with the meta picks? Do they know like how other teams have been playing these patches? And for the most part, it seems like they don't really care, because they are playing their own style. They're picking their own heroes, and they're making it work, especially against Vega Squadron, who, again, like I think was heavily the favorites in this series.
I would say, though, in all 3 games of this series, the first 15 minutes, Vega was always on the winning hand. And that is a problem for SG if you can't sort out your lanes properly. And other teams other than Vega will take abuse of that.
Other CIS teams. So like Lil is going to go to town on them.
And this patch, there's a greater chance of coming back into the game because they can't snowball that much because of the less gold that they get from the towers and the buildings. So I'm not sure if these games are gonna last this long, because this whole day we had the 6th game, 2 best-of-3s, and pretty much an average game was around 50-45 minutes, which is pretty long. I just need to see more games to get the conclusion out of this.
You need to see more games.
Yeah, definitely. One more best-of-3 that goes into the 3rd game, right?
Deep into the twilight. Yeah, then I'll really understand this patch. I'll understand it so well.
Hero damage. I mean, Timbersaw for the R played a great game. He was already left alone. He had a fairly easy lane, I guess, on that safe lane against the Night Stalker there, and with the top lane demanding all the attention of the supports. But he made it work as well.
Yeah, and like we said, like Timbersaw late game, it was a struggle in this particular lineup, and so he even took like the 100 damage talent because he was just like, kind of need to help push and stuff like that, and so he was adapting fairly well.
Exactly. With the troll.
The only thing I was kind of skeptical of was because he had built a heart and he was very low armor. He only had 4 armor, and he was getting silver edged by the troll warlord, and so you know there are many different options, and I imagine that he was just like, oh man, new magic resistance with the heart, maybe I should go for that. But then you got offensive nullfield
11 times. He
79 kill
to
participation.
Yeah, also he stole a couple of firestorms, and that deals a ton of damage against these beefy strength 3 cores that they had.
Yeah, he had a really good game despite dying so many times. And as you mentioned, it's you know, dying for the right reasons for warding is worth it if it gets your team.
Although MVP for this series, I'm giving to Zayats for sure. He was consistently stand out at all stages of the game, and he was playing 3 different heroes, so that's not an easy feat.
No, and saving the core, as we saw there on the Chen as well. Overall, I mean, Vega Squadron moving forward, looking promising. What do you think compared to what you were expecting from them at the start of the day?
Yeah, Vega is looking good as I expected. The team has some good chemistry together, and like the way they enter the fights, the way they fight, maybe not the best Roche fights that we've seen today, but they are looking good, and I think they could drag this into the game 3 against Fnatic.
But not win this series against Fnatic is kind of what I'm going for.
Fnatic has an upper hand.
Okay.
And Fnatic will be playing again in just a moment. We have them up against Vega Squadron, the upper bracket finals of Group B. And for that, we are going to break. But don't worry, you're not getting a break. No break for you. You get to enjoy this interview with Eternal Envy.